Basic, you should watch this video from ZK. Trials of Osiris will be dead soon. Oh, you even put Destiny 2 rant in this. Okay. It needs to change. All right, hold on. Let's take a look at this. Dude, ZK doesn't make these kind of videos often, so I'm curious to know what he has to say here. Most of the time, ZK is just like he's putting up gameplay of him popping heads, right? But let's take a listen.
Trials of Osiris. How do I make this video? The most iconic endgame PvP activity of Destiny. It's been there since Destiny 1 House of Wolves 2015, so it's been there for 10 years, and it's just been so successful. But right now, you saw the title, I have to rant about it, and I'm scared for Trials of Osiris. I know it had ups and downs, it's not always perfect, but right now I'm genuinely scared, and I think that Trials is going to continue going down and probably die. In Destiny 1, I would even say that Trials of Osiris in year 3 actually saved the Destiny franchise because it was all people played and all people watched.
What a controversial take. Hold on. PvE players don't want to admit this, but no lying, Trials of Osiris, Destiny 1 when it first rolled out, it was huge, man. It was everywhere. Everybody was playing Trials. And it seemingly came out of nowhere. I don't remember any type of like lead up to it. I think there's like lore implications potentially. But I would argue and say like Trials of Osiris was part of the reason why the Taken King was successful. It got the ball rolling. It was the equivalent of Into the Light for the final shape. Man, Trials only caters to the 5% and it doesn't matter. Right. But back then, the Destiny player base wasn't so casual. Now they're super casual. And they act like they can't shoot people with their guns in a first-person shooter.
Back in the days and for a long time, Trials was maintaining a healthy population with over 200k every weekend, 300k, 400k sometime, so it was doing really good. Unfortunately, don't know what happened with Destiny a few months back, but we started losing a lot of players, and it definitely affected Trials because Trials was not receiving any updates. No new armor, no new weapons, and it was just kind of getting stale, so we kind of started slowly losing the population that we had in Trials, and we even reached the lowest point of Trials in history with a weekend of 40,000 players in the full weekend. So Bungie definitely had to do something about it, so they decided to do a revamp of Trials of Osiris, allowing people to reach the lighthouse with just 7 wins, so no 7 win streak. It's definitely a good idea, and when they announced it,
you didn't have to be flawless, right? Can I just point out, by the way, who's ZK's editor? The edits here are pretty nice.
I knew the population would be like crazy in Trials, and it was on the first day, 300,000 players back into Trials in the first weekend. But this system is unfortunately not sustainable. You're giving access to the Lighthouse to a lot of people, and it's kind of losing the prestige of getting Lighthouse or Flawless, and it's just not as rewarding, I would say. I'm happy that people jump into Trials and have fun with it, but most people, especially casual players, are only going into Trials for the loot. And this has been a huge debate in my Twitch chat at twitch.tv/JKMushroom, and essentially weekends that the loot is not good. They know that the population is not going to be good. And that's a big issue. Knowing Bungie history, unfortunately right now it's the case, they're not adding enough loot to Trials to be sustainable on a long term with this system. So this is the loot that you can get in Trials at the moment. We got Asia Scare Pulse Rifle, Exalted Truth Hand Cannon, Keen Thistle Sniper Rifle, Shayura's Wrath, some Machine Gun, Tomorrow's Answer, Yesterday Question. Unfortunately, you're only going to get 1 or 2 weeks out of like 2 months that people are actually going to be playing for. We are getting the Inquisitor back, which is going to be the best shotgun in the game, but at the moment we don't have it. So what's costing Trials of Osiris right now is definitely the loot. We are in a Destiny era where people only grind activities to receive loot and not because the activity is fun in general. So when you don't have enough loots or enough like fun loots or good loots, it's unfortunately not going to do good. And by having 1 weapon that is obtainable per week, it is making people play on Friday and Saturday a little bit to get the weapon. Once they reach the Lighthouse and obtain the weapon once or twice, they completely stop playing. So we get a big spike on Friday, Saturday. Sunday, Monday, it is completely dead. So the solution for that is definitely adding more exciting loot and also making it so that every gun can drop from the Lighthouse chest randomly. So every weekend can do good because every weekend has a chance to give people what they want. But ZK, we don't like RNG. I don't like grinding trials for no reason and not getting what I want. Okay, fine. They can do exactly what they did with Onslaught back in the days. Grind the activity, but before grinding the activity, you go to the tower and you talk to Saint 14.
You
and you can attune a weapon in particular that you want to drop more often.
Wow.
So for example, I want to get the Exalted Truth in a weekend. I can go talk to Saint 14. I attune the weapon, and I'll be able to get increased chances of getting the weapon throughout the...
What are your thoughts on this, guys? I mean, because PvE players, maybe you just want to get the rocket launcher, right? But it's Shayor's Wrath. That pretty much eliminates the thought of wanting to play trials for that weekend, I would think, huh? You can make the argument that people are just gonna wait for a good map then to farm trials. Maybe. I just think that having it readily available, this could be the next big change for trials.
And you can even add adept shiny weapons. They have extra perks, extra stats, something like that, just exactly like they did with Onslaught. The best system that Bungie had in place was in Destiny 1, and I still don't get why they changed the formula. Essentially, you would reach the lighthouse. It was a social space, so people could see other people that reached the lighthouse, which was awesome. It was good to, you know, like hit a little dance, a little dab in front of people and flex on them. And
wait, was D1 a social space? Like, could other players be there? I thought it was just the people in your fire team. Just your fire team? Gotcha. It was a bigger space. ZK is right. The D1 trial space was a bigger space. I think the D2 trial space looks cooler though, because you got Saint there. You know, you got the big just like this will in just a second. But I mean, you got the sun. You know what I mean? I think a social space would be pretty cool. I would be down for like an actual spot. You know what I mean? Oh, the platinum lounge, if you will. And I don't know, but I mean, like, who do you want to hang out with in that place? You know, what am I going to be looking at? DeFizzle? Hey, DeFizzle, what's happening? Sweaty bastard.
Yeah, you would have to walk towards the chest, and after you would open the chest, and you had a chance of getting random stuff. You never knew what you were going to get. You could get an exotic emblem.
Trials Airport Lounge.
You could get materials, and you would get a random Trials of Osiris weapon. They had a Summoner, the Scholar, the Messenger, the Jewel of Osiris, and they kept changing the loots every year. And the best thing about the system was definitely the armor sets. Essentially, you would get Flawless, get the armor sets, and once you reach the lighthouse, you would get Flawless Vigil ornaments. And you had to use the Flawless ornaments from each lighthouse, each Flawless, to put it on your armor and get a glow. That is creating a more rewarding armor sets than what we get right now. And it definitely looked cool in Destiny 1, and that's probably why people were using it. But in Destiny 2, I'm gonna be honest, I've grinded every single Trials armor sets, and unfortunately, I get the armor sets, and I just never wear it. It doesn't feel fun or rewarding to get the armor. But in D1, I would get the entire armor set from playing Trials, but after I was farming the Flawlesses to be able to get a glow on each armor sets. And some of them, for example, the chest piece, required 2 Flawless. So I had to get Flawless twice, and after, equip the ornaments on my chest piece. So I had to get multiple Flawless to get the full armor sets on each character. And that would definitely make people play more often in Destiny 2, because you're making the lighthouse like...
So what he's talking about right there is, like, instead of it being on the point system that we currently have for getting cosmetics and armor pieces and things like that, he's saying that there needs to be more prestige, especially considering that Flawless feels, and you got to understand from a hardcore PvP player, their perspective is that Flawless feels watered down. Right. I've got in the camp that it needed to happen. They needed to make these changes to trials because it wasn't like the previous system was working for it. You know what I mean? And we do tend to look at Destiny 1's Trials of Osiris and look at it with rose tinted glasses. But understand, going into like end of year 2, year 3, Trials was not in a good place. You know, I mean, it was already showing signs of wear and tear, you know, and so I just feel like even that system wasn't sustainable either. We just had a shorter time frame. You know, time is what exposes these things, and we've had a much longer runway inside of Destiny 2 to expose these things. Move me down here. I've been blocking ZK this whole time. My bad, ZK.
Accessible with 7 wins. A lot of casual players are gonna get the armor sets, and they could just get 7 wins and play each weekend to get their ornaments. And even better, in Destiny 2, there's currently 3 armor glow. There is yellow, blue, and red. You could make it so if people go on a win streak of like 5, 7, even 14 30 if you want, they could choose with the token which color they want to use on their armor sets. You can have different colors. You can even create an armor set that has the win streak on the person like chest, on the person cloak, on the shoulder, to be able to flex at a tower that you got like a 50 win streak or a 12 win streak. Why not make the Trials armor Artifice so I can farm for a better build while playing Trials? I know
all these things sound way too logical, ZK. Way too logical. Instead, how about you just play comp, walk away with your 61 stat roll Artifice armor, and be happy you get that.
the armor system is changing, but they could do something with that with a new system in Frontier. So that's for the loots. Another issue in Trials right now is the maps. Unfortunately, we are stuck playing the same map for Friday to Tuesday, so for a couple days in a row, and when the map is not good and the loot is not good, people don't want to play that weekend. A solution for that, and I've been saying it for a long time, you need map rotation. You need to have a map change daily. So each Destiny reset would be a different map. So you start the weekend on a Friday on Javelin, and the next day it's changing to Endless Vale, and the day after it's changing to Bannerfall, and after it's changing to Disjunction. Okay, we get one.
You know what? Damn, ZK should make more videos like this. This is really good. I mean, look, like, no lie. My brain's been like out of it for so long. I've given up on Trials. Like, I can't even make good suggestions anymore because I'm just like, I don't care. I get my flawless, I get my loot, I give no shit. But no lie, these are some great suggestions. What this means, instead, because originally people would be like, we should have maps that rotate every other game. Well, that may change up too much, right? But this is essentially what we were getting in Rushdown, right? You get the different boss rotations and it keeps things fresh on a day-to-day basis. And if you get a bad map, maybe Disjunction is on a Monday. Well, then you can walk away from that going, yeah, f that, I'm not playing Monday, you know, or Saturday or Sunday, whatever. But maybe you got 2 days there that weekend, which is like really good with a map that you feel comfortable with. And that's what you want to hit on top of the attunements.
1 day of Disjunction, it's over, and that's it. It's not stuck the entire weekend. Another thing that Bungie needs to add is the Mercy Rule back. That system, which allows you to lose a game and not lose any progress towards your win streak, would be phenomenal to have back. Destiny, it is too RNG. There's bad servers, there's cheaters, there's people teleporting, lagging, melee whiff. So having this extra chance is just super awesome to have. Another super important update that they gotta do, and I know it's complicated to bring it back, but they need to bring back freelance. I've been saying it for years, but freelance was the best thing that
Oh my god, dude, ZK's hitting some very controversial takes right now. Let me just say, the normal Trials player would not be saying any of this stuff. The fact that he says that, you know, needs to add mercy, and now he's saying bring back freelance. He's extremely controversial. I'm just saying, I know the Trials community, and they were all like, boo to freelance.
happened to Destiny PvP. You allow people to play solo, which increase the population because a lot of people can't find teammates to play with. They go in and they're playing against other solo players, right? When they added fireteam-based matchmaking, everyone started playing duo queue, and it doesn't mix well. When you play solo queue and you match with a duo, there's lobby balancing. Sometimes you get a bad duo. Sometimes you play against a good duo. So it's really tough to win. They can communicate and you can't. So it's really unfair to have in any competitive aspect of Destiny. And let's be honest, duo queue just doesn't have a place. If you can find a friend, you can find an extra one, you know? You either play 3-stack or you play freelance. Duo queue should never exist in Destiny. One of the worst thing that they added with this revamp is the fact that once you get 7 win streak, which is a flawless card.
Oh, hold on. Let me just back up real quick. So ZK is saying duo queue should never exist. What does that mean? Does that mean like no duos, like allow no duos and only allow trios or freelance? Look, let me just say this. And I play solo. I play solo in a lot of areas of Destiny simply because it's my way of connecting with some of y'all's pain points, and those pain points can only be felt if you play solo, right? Or if you go into an LFG environment, of which we do on a regular basis. I know we meme about it on Friday because we've got ZK and we've got Frostbow and we play with them and we 3-stack, but there's many times we go inside of Trials or go inside of Comp and other areas of Destiny as a solo player. Freelance was pretty nice. I would say the people who were advocating against freelance the most were, I think the folks that played Trials like damn near 100 hours on a weekend, and they were, you know, doing like carries and things like that. That was where like freelance splitting the population and was making a difficult time for them. I don't know. This is such a strange thing, because it's like, you know, I see both sides. I really don't know if you take away freelance like we have now, and you have solo players in the regular playlist, that's going to make it easier for the trio teams, the stack teams, to go flawless because they have fodder. Bungie's answer to this is that when a solo player matches a trio team, they get loss forgiveness. That's their answer for that. So on the off chance that you as a solo player beats the trio team, though, you get a win, but the loss doesn't count. Now there's a couple things that are actually blowing up in Bungie's face on this. Number one, a solo player will recognize that they have loss forgiveness. And I'm just going to say, just from my own personal experience, like watching, people just don't play good. Like whenever a person's like a solo player and they're like, oh, that's a 3 stack on the other side of this, I don't care. I can win, I can lose, doesn't matter to me. And so the effort really goes way down. And I mean, almost to the point of, I'm not going to say throwing, but, you know, definitely not contributing. Cross, you don't solo queue in trials freelance. You don't solo queue in trials. Freelance is terrible for higher skill players. The lobby balance is horrible in freelance. Les, what are you talking about? I was soloing inside of trials literally just the other day. I was playing on Friday solo. What are you talking about, Les?
With this revamp is the fact that once you get 7 win streak, which is a flawless card, they put you in a flawless pool. Flawless pool was really bad for 2 years, and they finally removed it, but they brought it back with this revamp for no reason at all. Essentially, if you get the 7 win streak, it is skill-based matchmaking. So this, I know it's a tough subject, but it just doesn't have a place in trials. So what that means is that if me, Frost, and Aztecross get flawless, for example, we start matching people with the same skill level as us for the weekly performance that we have. So if we have a 3 KD each, we start playing people with 3 KD each. Who are the people with 3 KD each? Mostly cheaters, mostly meta abusing like Invis Hunter. It is just awful. It makes people stream snipe us. It doesn't have a place. And once you reach that 7 win streak, what sucks is that you cannot reset your card. You can only get 1 flawless per week, compared to back in the days where you could reset and farm like 1,000 flawless in 1 weekend, or you could keep your card at 7 to get more loots. At the point I am in Destiny right now, I don't need the trials loots. I want to be able to reset my card, do some trials challenges, and be able to get flawless multiple times in a weekend. And it's more fun to go to the lighthouse chest and open it multiple times than just play at 7 wins. But DK, you don't want to play against people the same skill level as you. I understand. But the system is not good enough. It doesn't have enough players in the flawless pool because everyone's doing carries to avoid it. So when you do play flawless pool, for example, if I play solo queue, I match against a lot of people that are really good on the other team. But unfortunately, the matchmaking cannot find enough people to put 6 good players in the lobby, so it finds like 2 or 3 like really bad players.
That is true.
And with lobby balancing, they're always on my team, which ended up being awful every time I play solo. I had teammate that dropped 0 kills, 1 kill in 9 rounds, and it's just not fun for me, and it's also not fun for the casual players that get thrown into the lobbies there. So flawless pool needs to be removed completely, and I think it is time to bring back the card-based matchmaking, which means that you essentially play against people that are at the same amount of wins as you on their card. If I'm at like 6, I start matching people at 6, which adds a lot of intensity, and it's just more rewarding to beat.
Let me tell you something. Let me just say this. This is some wild takes, DK. You coming in and dropping some wild takes right now. A lot of people didn't like the card-based matchmaking system from before because that final game, brother, it was sweaty, man. You knew flawless game was always going to be up against someone who was also going flawless. And so they were going to be fucking going for it. It was stressful. It does make for entertainment, though. Like I will say, it does make it entertaining.
Beat the team at 6 and get the lighthouse than if I'm at 6 wins and I beat a team at 1. So that's pretty much it on the changes that Bungie should be doing. This is just solution. I'm not forcing Bungie to do any of that. I do hope they watch the video. And the last thing that I want to say is that Trials of Osiris needs the special ammo meter, and I know Bungie is working on it, but I feel like Trials is not intense enough like it was back in the days. People only get 1 sniper bullets, 1 shotgun bullets. You're not able to make any plays by yourself or just push a lot of people aggressively with a shotgun. And I know a lot of people hate special ammo. I do hate special ammo, but they're needed in Destiny to make the gameplay more interesting. So obviously you need a healthy meta, you need good loots, and you need some solid changes to matchmaking, and you can actually bring back Trials to where it was. So thank you for watching this video. I don't do those rants. I don't do those like long videos where I just talk. So if you enjoy them, I can do more. I don't know, some feedback on stuff like to make it better. But yeah.
DK, I think this is a fantastic video. Fantastic. It was well done. Yeah, look, there was, I won't lie, guys, there were some controversial takes in here, and nothing gets me going more than, you know, because like I like ZK, I like Frostbolt, I love listening to those guys, and they give great suggestions. But what happens is when they get to talking, they have a way of really striking the PvP audience, and they come in with their suggestions. I think Les is a great barometer for this, because Les will start coming in and dropping his thoughts, which just makes me want to all over the place. But they're still part of the player base, and you have to understand, like, that's important. They are important too. They deserve to have a voice here as well. Now, I will say there was some controversial takes. I think attunement, fantastic. I would love to see attunement inside of Destiny. This means you could target loot any adept drop, a shiny version of, or adept drops, you know, something to just kind of give more flair and prestige. I'd be down for that. In regards to like freelance playlists, matchmaking, I would say I understand like where ZK's coming from on that. I would just, this is like such a data driven thing, because it's like, let's let this whole solo players get forgiveness when they match a trio team thing, and let's just see how that plays out. Or at least I'm curious to see how that plays out. Like what is the data on that? How often does a solo player that gets matched with a duo up against a trio, how often do they win? You know, and Bungie has all this data, and so we'll just have to see what plays out with this. I mean, I did enjoy the freelance playlist, but like I said, most PvP players hated it because it split the player base. Better loot is needed for sure. Nobody wants a glaive or a burst hand cannon. Yeah, better loot is always nice, guys. I mean, that always makes life better. Here's the thing, you know, on the quest for better loot, and then by the way, we could say that about everything in the game. Better loot everywhere. You do reach a point where, okay, so you got Trials weapons. Stat-wise, they are some of the most superior weapons in the game. You do run into a territory of like major power creep. I would say that, you know, it's difficult, especially when we start talking about shiny variants of these weapons and stuff. You start to run into power creep. And I mean, look no further than Redrix. Redrix stock has been nerfed multiple times. It's getting another nerf tomorrow. And I love that we have a weapon that we want to grind for inside of comp. But, you know, occasionally you do create a monster when it's just so superior stat-wise. And it has a good... It's not only superior stat-wise, but it's got good trait combinations. I used to avoid PvP like the plague, but loot is what coaxed me into playing it. Now I enjoy it. Yeah, I would say this. PvP players will always play PvP. I mean, they're gonna play Trials. They're like, take Les, for instance. He's going to play PvP regardless. What you need is you need to put S-tier PvE loot inside of Trials. That would really piss off the PvE player base, but really just get kind of like Recluse and Mountaintop back in the day. Get you some S-tier PvE loot and sprinkle it in right there in the Trials playlist. And man, you're going to get a lot of dude, so many people are going to be pissed off. And then create a raid or a dungeon experience where there is a damage check. If they would just have grinded for whatever, that grenade launcher, that rocket launcher, whatever from Trials of Osiris, they could have potentially gotten through that day one experience. That PvE player will then go home that day after failing at Caretaker or wherever and be like, what went wrong? If only I would have just played PvP. And look, man, they're either going to do it in the next one or they're not. And look, PvE players don't want to hear this right now. I get it, man. Because PvE players, they just want to never step a foot inside of PvP. I actually used to love when Bungie would take exotic quests and make PvE players go play PvP. They'd be like, yeah, you got to go kill some hive. You got to go find this random artifact. And now you got to get 20 fucking kills in PvP. Dude, you tell a PvE player to go get 20 kills in PvP. They're like, oh my God, chop my nuts off now. It was good though. It was good because it made it made for great fodder for us. You know, I just have to, get a couple clips here and there. But no, for real though, I think Bungie needs to go back to that. They're doing this. Here's the thing. They're playing this. They're trying to satisfy everybody. And the reality is you can't satisfy everybody. You're going to have to piss some people off. And ideally, I think the people you need to piss off are the dedicated PvE players and the dedicated PvP players. You got to make them angry. That's how you make everyone else happy. You need to go in there and you need to identify who are the dedicated PvP players, the hardcore, who are the dedicated PvE players. What is the 1 or 2 things they don't want? Absolutely don't want. And then do those things. Do those 2 things. All right, that's it. No, there are some great suggestions. ZK, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what the data is going to be. You know, let's give it another month or so and see like if this whole like solo forgiveness thing works out. Let me just ask you guys the question. Do you feel like Flawless has lost its prestige? Do you feel like it's meaningless now for you? 1,000%. Yes. 100%. Yes. Flawless doesn't equal going to the lighthouse anymore. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, what if they had like different lounges at the lighthouse? You know what I'm saying? Like you walk in, you're in the lobby and you're like, oh, this is nice. But then you try to go to the gold lounge and you're like denied. You know what I mean? And then you got the platinum lounge and then the diamond lounge. You know what I'm coming from? You could do something like that and then make it a glass wall so you could see the other people on the other side of it. You're like, hey, what y'all eating in there, gold lounge people? That looks really nice. What you drinking right now? I really think that's important because that would then create urgency to want to get to that other side. You know what I mean? And make it a social area. That needs to be flex. You need to be chilling in the plat lounge or the diamond lounge. You know what I mean? I want to be able to go in, put my feet up, and Sweeper Bot comes over there and starts massaging my feet. I mean, and like straight up massaging my feet, rubbing my shoulders, and then like there's like it's in a glass room. And like the people in Gold Lounge are like fucking looking through the glass like, damn, that must be nice over there. I'm just saying that would sell.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.